So it finishes Forest 1, Crystal Palace 0. Welcome to the match reaction and player ratings. Good morning, good evening, or good night. Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to the player ratings, where it finishes Forest 1, Crystal Palace 0. And look, I'll be honest with you, it wasn't the most exhilarating game I would assume for a neutral, but as a Forest fan, I'm sure for you guys, god damn it, it was nerve-wracking. It really was. And there was chances in the first half for both teams. Both teams hit in the post, but I felt that Forest just edged the first half. And I think for me, Elliot Anderson for those first 30 minutes was really, really good. In general, though, I didn't feel we had enough of the ball in that midfield. I thought Milenkovic was his usual solid self, and Moreno stood out for me as well in that first half. Elanga, we'll talk about him in a minute. And in the second half, honestly, Palace started the better team and they were dominating the first 15 minutes or so. And then it wasn't until the 61st minute or whatever it was where Jota Silva came on. And that should have, for me, been done at half time. Jota Silva for Elanga. Elanga wasn't offering anything. And shock horror, a couple of minutes later, we score with who else but Cristiano Ronaldo himself, cutting a shot in after the header came back to him from the Palace defender. And you got to say Dean Henderson with an absolute blunder. Thank you so much, Hendo. We know you are a red deep inside. And then Forest didn't, look, we didn't have to play well to then win the match. It just felt like Palace weren't really creating too much, but they did have two excellent chances. And you got to give Self his flowers. He pulled out two excellent saves for me and had a really solid game. It was so good to see that he just wasn't punting the ball every time he got it. There was passes, especially in that first half. I felt we locked it down a bit too early, if I'm honest with you. I felt we didn't need to necessarily go to that back three as early as we did, but it worked out. Morata was playing almost like a left winger at times. And we are playing really high up. And in fact, you would say in that period between the 75th minute and the 85th minute, we were in the ascendancy. And we had literally Morello, Milenkovic, Morata all playing in the Palace half. So it was a decent performance. I mean, if I was going to rate the performance out of 10, I'd say it was like a 6.5 out of 10. But if I'm going to rate the result is a 10 out of 10. Exactly what we need and pushes us into 8th in the league. And this now means if we win the Cooper Derby on Friday, Forest go up to 5th. So I'm ecstatic. I really am. And, you know, at this stage of the season, results are more important than the performance. Don't know how you guys feel about it. Let me know in the comments below. If you haven't already, please don't forget to hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to Forest Fan TV. And a quick reminder, if you got Netflix, make sure you're using Surfshark because you can unlock all the USA stuff by putting your location on America, just like in the video there. And then, hey presto, refresh your page and you get all the stuff they get, which is more than we get in the UK. So let's get into the player ratings. But just before we do you know what's made me even happier tonight? I can say, I told you so. I've been holding on this I told you so for the last 2 weeks, yeah? Chat, can you now acknowledge that I am 100% correct on Eddie Nketiah? Who still wants Eddie Nketiah? Where are all the Eddie Nketiah fanboys that were there in the summer when I was I've never been more adamant about a player not coming to Forest. And can you now acknowledge and just say, yo, Wolfie, you were right. You know what? You were right on him. You were right on Jimenez. You were right on Omar Marmoush. You were right. So screw you, Eddie. Screw you and your 140k a week request with your 0 goals and your 0 assists. Here you go. I'll give you 1 goal and 1 assist. Go back to Croydon and enjoy that. Enjoy that. Pick up your paycheck. You're not a Premier League player. You're an absolute joke. You probably will never score this season, and you ain't scoring at the City Ground this season. So I was right. I can breathe. I don't have to shut the channel down. So up yours, Eddie. Up yours. Okay, got it off my chest. Got it off my chest. Okay, let's get into the player ratings, man, because there's some good performances and there's some okay performances. I feel better. I feel better after that. I think I've been sitting on that Nketiah rant since the summer, maybe. Since the summer. Okay, let's kick this off. Remember, if you want to get your player ratings in, it's a live count. Just go and click on the link that's pinned in the chat. If you're watching later on, let me know in the comments down below who your man of the match is. And I think an early candidate has to be Sels. I think, look, there was one save that I wasn't happy with where he parried it back into play, but then the Palace player was offside anyway. I'm happily going to overlook that. The two saves in the second half were critical. Heath, he hit the post, but hitting the post doesn't even count as a shot on target. He's crap. He's crap. He's crap. Sels for me, I think is a 9 out of 10, guys. Am I going too high there? I thought his kicking was a lot better. I thought his distribution was good. And I thought those saves just were massive highlights for me. So I'm saying 9 out of 10. Hold on, this is... Oh, crap. I've lost my head. Now my head is back. There we go. So I'm saying a 9 out of 10. Maybe you guys think that's a little high. I don't know. But I was impressed with what he did today. So I'm giving him a 9 out of 10. Those two saves, especially one of them where I think it was from Schlupp. He was blind to the ball and gave it just this delicate flick around the post, was fantastic. If you went 10, you went 10. Not a problem with 10s. But 10 needs to be like next level, man. Next level. I don't think we were under too much duress today. I think it's a 9. Let's see what you guys said on Sels. A little harsh, guys. 8.81. Loads of you are saying you gave him a 10 in the chat and 9s. Clean sheet for me is a 10. Oh, wait, hold on. If I want to bring your comments up, 1 second, guys. I need this as well. We just do that. Clean sheet and 10. Loads of you saying 10. So how does he end up on an 8.82? I don't know. The passion from Sels lately is exactly what we needed, and it's improved him in so many ways. I think he's been having some great games lately. I really do. So I've got a 9. You guys are harsh with your 8.82, but whatever. This is a democracy here. Ish. Flash Score saying 8.2. You should be using Sofascore, mate. So that was Sels. Aina. I don't think it was his best game. I thought he did a lot of good things and some sloppy things as well. What I'll say on Aina is I just felt like him and Elanga haven't got that connection, that chemistry going on there. And they almost were getting in each other's way a couple of times. I thought once Elanga went off, Aina looked quite a bit better. Don't know if that makes sense. Nor am I trying to scapegoat Elanga for this. I'm just calling it as I see it. It's not his best game by any stretch of the imagination for me. Out of the defensive 4, I thought he was probably the weakest, and I use that term very loosely. I'm going to give him like a 6.5 out of 10 for me. I thought not the Aina, my favorite player that I'm used to. Maybe it's the new haircut. Who knows? But I'll give him a 6.5 out of 10. I just haven't got half numbers, so you know what I'm saying there. Let's see what you guys said. 7.3. Little high? I don't know, chat. Do you agree with each other? 114 of you have already voted. 7.3. Wolfie, what game were you watching? He's amazing. I don't think he was that amazing, bro. But we've all got our opinions. All right, you guys said 7.3. I've been saying Aina has been poor. I mean, this is what I love. Someone will say, what you talk about? Someone else will say they agree. Someone else will sit on the fence. That's the whole point of FFTV, because every single opinion is completely and utterly valid here on FFTV. You are welcome to say how you are feeling, and don't worry about the repercussions, unless I'm the one who's going to take the mick out of you. Okay, so I've gone 6.5. You guys have gone 7.3. Talk about Milenkovic. I mean, what's left to say about Milenkovic that hasn't yet been said? Out of the two centre backs, I think again he was the better one. I was hoping Turner would play. He can't play though, is he? He's parent club tied. Thank you, Colton. Thank you for the well done. I think I say this after every game, and I'm gonna say it again tonight. Milenkovic does nothing wrong. He's not spectacular. He's not flamboyant. He's not like, you know, a Brazilian style skill player runs out the back. All he does is just defend the ball, position himself correctly, and then release the ball to the right pass. And he just wins everything in the air. He is almost the perfect centre back. He's like old school centre back with a little bit of a modern twist on him. And he's just a leader for me. He's a leader. He's my captain as far as I'm concerned on that team. Yeah, where have all the Palace fans gone, Ray? They've all gone silent. So I think for me, Milenkovic is at least an 8 out of 10. Like an 8.5 maybe out of 10. He's unnoticeably perfect is how I would describe him. I'm going to give him an 8.5 out of 10. 8.5. Oh, look at that. The one Brentford fan is back. Salty or what, mate? Salty or what? Let's see what you guys did. 8.2. We're about the same. I said 8.5. You said 8.2. Not bad. But what Milenkovic is going to struggle with is that he's setting such a high standard now that I will, and I shouldn't do, but I will be rating him versus his past performances, because his 8 out of 10 is like an average Premier League player's 10 out of 10. You know what I mean? He's just next level. He's next level. It may be too low, Nick. It may be too low, but I just, you know, I like him. I like him. He may be even slowly taken over Aina as my favorite player. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I need to reevaluate my favorite players. Tell Rich we will let Wood teach Eze and Nketiah how to shoot from distance. I'll give Rich a call once we've done the player rate and see what he's got to say. You guys want that? If you do, make sure you've hit that like button. I mean, how many likes are we on? There's 600 of you watching. We're on 102 likes. Guys could be better than that. Also, make sure you've subscribed to the channel if you're new as well. Hey, the lovely Carol's in the chat. How you doing, Carol? Good to see you. Okay. And we got Marky Boy, who was down there. Marky Boy has been on it since about 2 this afternoon, Mark. He's made a whole day of it. He was confident we were going to win it. Raise that glass, Mark. We got the 3 points. We got the 3 points. Good to see you in the chat, Mark. Okay, so let's move on to his partner in crime, Murillo. Now, for me, Murillo wasn't as good. There was just one little moment for me with Murillo where he slid past Nketiah, and then that made my butthole pucker up a little. I'm not going to lie to you, but Moreno was there to block the shot. I thought he was okay, but I wasn't as confident with him as I was with Milenkovic today. I'll be honest with you guys. A couple of his passes were a little bit off, especially in the opposition half. I'm going to give him a solid 7 out of 10. Because you now have to compare him with the performance against Milenkovic. And in my opinion, Milenkovic had the better game. Timmy Boy with the 99p super sticker. Thank you so much, Timmy, with the upside down smiley face. Thanks so much, Tim. Hope you're well, bud. Let's see what you guys went for Murillo. 7.5. Okay, so you rated him slightly higher than me. I think you guys are wrong. I think you guys are just thinking about the result, which is fair enough. It's up to you. But I've got a 7. You guys have gone a 7.5. Now, I'm really interested to see what you guys thought of Moreno. I thought Moreno was sensational today. And I'll tell you why. In that period where everyone was looking quite rubbish, I'm talking like between the start of the second half until Jota Silva came on, the only person for me that was fully focused, not making mistakes, and had a little bit of oomph behind him was Moreno. And some of those key blocks he made are being forgotten about, or maybe you guys remember them. I was extremely impressed with him. And I was actually surprised that he went off. I don't think he was gassed or anything like that, but he did put a real good shift in. I'm giving him an 8.5. I was extremely impressed. All right, this is annoying me. Let me just shuffle over to this side. I'm giving him an 8.5. He was really good today. Really good. Like, you have to watch what he was doing in that period at the start of the second half where Palace started to dominate. And he was the only one on song for me. Andrew, with the 99p, thank you so much with another emoji. Appreciate it, bro. Let's see what you guys did. Let's see if you guys have the football knowledge or not. You don't. I'm sorry you don't. You guys need to watch this game back and you need to see what he did, okay? The unsung hero for me at that match was him today. Just a solid performance. I mean, Ryan's saying he gave him a 9. Mark's saying a 9. Disco gave him an 8. So how's he ended up on a 7.5? I thought I was being a little harsh with him. But anyway, Will Hughes is crying on TV. It's probably because he's so ugly. And he's had to play for Derby. Wow. Zensation with the $5 Canadian. Thank you so much, bro. Gotta leg it. Thanks for everything, boys. Thanks, Wolfie. Thank you so much for your support, bro. And Richard with the £2. Thank you so much, Richard. You're an absolute legend. Thank you to everyone supporting us. Remember, we are also on Patreon now, where you guys can get exclusive additional content. Thank you to everyone who's signed up on that as well. Okay, you guys are harsh on him. Let's move forward. Let's move forward and talk about who's next. Ryan Yates. He was okay. I'd say a bit anonymous for me in the second half of the first half. I'll say it again. The only thing that bugs me about Yates right now is this ability where he just falls over expecting a free kick. He did it on the edge of the box in the opposition half when he wasn't even really touched and they were able to counterattack. And if he'd stayed up, he could have played someone in. He got unlucky with his header. I thought his header on goal was good, the one that hit the post. Look, we're short on midfielders. He has to play, but he has to stop this diving stuff. Not every game needs the old S-housery, right? This isn't a game. Against Liverpool, I get it. Against Chelsea, I get it. But against the likes of Crystal Palace, he doesn't need to do this. What frustrates me is that I think he has more talent than he shows, and he's playing on this whole shithousery thing. And as Carol says, the refs have him sussed. The ref had him sussed off the bat today. And I think there is a better player in there than people want to give him credit for. And I want to give him credit for it, but he has to show it. He has to show it. Look, overall, his performance was fine. You know, the pluses and the minuses for me balance themselves out. Good attempts on goal. Silly falling over, won a few free kicks, so they balance out for me. He's a 6 out of 10 today for me. And yeah, he can't shoot, but we know that about him. This Brentford fan is annoying. Move on. Get the mods to sort him out. We've got a few mods in there. Let's see what you guys gave Yates. You gave him a 7. Fine, fair enough. I'm not fussed really. I don't care. We won. Would probably say 7 is a little high. When's Danilo and Sangare back? Don't think Yates will start. They're not going to be back for a while together, though, are they? I think Sangare will be back before. The legend Phil with the £2. Game over, he says. We won. In Ketia, you go do one. Without Yates, this team would not get results. It's not down to one player, would be my argument back, Owen. It's not down to one player. It's a team game. It's a team game. Weren't you saying during the match that without MGW, where's the creativity? And we still managed to score. It's a team game. It's a team game. Okay, let's move on from Yates to Dominguez. So Dominguez was a funny one for me. I thought he probably should have come off just after half time. And then is this the first time we've seen him play 90 minutes? Because I thought in the second half of the second half, he was one of the better players there. In the first half, he was doing a bit of Yates, giving away silly fouls, kicked the ball away, got himself booked. But at the same time, in the second half of the second half, he was winning the ball, he was turning it over, he was pressing quite well. it's a hard one to balance out. Again, there was good and bad with it. I think his good slightly outweighs the bad stuff he does. His work rates were impeccable for me tonight. He's like a 6.5 for us. Yeah, about 6.5 for me. 6.5. Let's see what you guys did. I'm going 6.5. You guys went 7.3 for Dominguez. Just about acceptable for me. Just about acceptable for me. Big Disco saying he kept the midfield ticking over. Dominguez, think I gave him a 9 for his effort, says Paul. Andrew saying Dominguez never stopped second half. Richard saying, I want us to do it at Leicester. Still a win with 5,000 Forest fans at Leicester. They will celebrate. All the Forest fans around the world will celebrate a win at Leicester. We've got huge build-up for this game this week. You're not going to want to miss it. But make sure you're subscribed. Make sure your notifications are on. Stuart saying, you're harsh tonight, Wolfie. Bro, we can't just give everyone 10s out of 10s because we've won, right? I try to look at this objectively and honestly. And as I say, the beauty is you guys can agree or disagree. And then you can agree or disagree with each other in the comments as well. So Dominguez, I gave him 6.5. You guys gave him a 7.3. Let's move on to Anderson. Now, this one I won't be harsh on. I think he's... I would rate him now as the second best signing of our window. I think he was really good. That first 30 minutes, he was dictating very well in the 10 position. His work rates, again, were phenomenal. I think he dipped away at the start of the second half and then came back into the game again. I like that we've got someone who can play in the 10, he can play in the 8, he can play as a winger, he works hard, and on top of that, he's able to, he's a flair player. He's got great skill. Sometimes he bubbles a bit too much in the box, you know, and he can't quite get his shot off, but that's because he's almost catching up with his feet. The more I see of him, the more how old is he, chat, by the way? Is he 19, 20, something like that? I'm impressed with him. It's the best 35 fake million we've ever spent. And I like him. And the more I see of him, the more I'm liking him. And he's close to being one of the first names on the sheet. 21, 22. Still very young, isn't he? Now compare him at his age, similar to Elanga. He's got that football IQ. Yeah, you're right, Simon. He put some great crosses in. I think there's a lot of good positives to take from him. He's an 8.5 for me today. I thought he was really good. Really good. So I'm going 8.5 for Mr. Anderson. Let's see what you guys have done. And just checking now, we've got just under 700 in here and only 200 likes. Guys, hit that like button. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Let's see what you guys have done. 8.3. So I went 8.5, 8.3. We're not a million miles off. He's 21, still very young. Imagine a year on with a season behind him. I think for me, the key thing for him this season is to establish his correct position, because we've seen him in the 8. We know he wants to play as the 10. And for Newcastle, he played on the left wing. What you don't want him to turn into is this jack of all trades, master of none. Because I think, me personally, I still think he's an 8. I think because he can get up and down the pitch, he's got a good engine on him. He can tackle, he can dribble. He's an 8. I like that kind of 8 player in my team. We'll have to wait and see if he can lock that down. The lovely Jess with the £2 says Anderson 10, Morgan Gibbs White 8. Please hit that like button. Yeah, it's doable. It's doable. But I think Morgan Gibbs White is probably the more senior player who's more established in that 10 position. So Anderson would have a fight on his hands. Anderson is more likely to get into the team as an 8 when the whole team is fit. Thank you so much for the £2. I bet you can't wait till we talk about Cristiano Ronaldo. Okay, let's move on from him and let's talk about Elanga. And for me, Elanga's, and you guys know me, I'm going to be straight with you guys. He was the biggest disappointment on that pitch for me today. He doesn't have the confidence to take on the fullback. I know Mitchell is a good fullback, and I know he's good in his position, but Elanga's faster than him. He only attempted to go outside him once, and at that stage he got tackled and never attempted it again. And then, as I was saying earlier when I was talking about Aina, I just felt both of them were getting in each other's way. And he had a chance to cross the ball in. He cut it in low, but it had no pace on it. It was easy to clear. He needed to pull it back with a bit of pace on it to actually aim at someone. I don't feel like he aims at anyone when he crosses it in. I think he was rubbish tonight. I'm just going to say it straight to you guys. He was poor. He's a 4 out of 10 for me. I'm sorry. He's a lovely bloke. You know, Flex always tells me about him and how focused he is and everything. But right now, it's for the greater good of the team. When you compare him to Sosa, there's no comparison at all. There's no comparison at all. Not Sosa, sorry, Jota. Andrew, with the £5, thank you so much, buddy. Loving the show again, mate. Keep up the good work. Come on, you Reds. Much love, bro. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. If you guys want to support the channel, there's the dollar button in the chat there. You can get your donations in. They will come up on screen. Or you can buy us a coffee as well. Or if you want some extra content for your money, go check out our Patreon where there's exclusive content on there. I agree with Iron Wolf. I would have taken the 50 million. I would have taken the 50 million because it would have meant that Jota Silva has to play. And therefore, we'd have seen more of him. But anyway, look, we're in good moods tonight, right? Let's not dampen it. You guys have gone 5.5. That's definitely too high. Definitely too high by at least a mark for me. So you guys have gone 5. Look, it is what it is. I don't want to focus on any of the negatives tonight. I want to keep it positive. So let's move on to Callum Hudson-Odoi. As I say that, I'm going to be a bit of a hypocrite. I don't think he was amazing tonight. I think he was trying to force the cheat code angle. And I'll give Palace, they did their homework on it. As soon as he cut in, there was 2, sometimes 3 players tripling up on him to stop him from getting off that shot. He tried to force it really hard one time where he could have just squared it across and maybe created a chance. He then did learn from it and he started to go on the outside a bit more. You guys are telling me he picked up a knock and there was talks that he was coming off at half time. I don't think he was shocking, but I don't think he was sensational. I thought he had a decent game. I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10 for me. It's like, it wasn't spectacular. It wasn't good. I do just worry that if people say Hooper or whatever, when we got next, when they watch, back that game, they'll see what Palace did and how they choked him out. Now, the beauty of it is if he does get doubled or tripled up, then that should open up other pockets. And he's going to need to adapt and learn from that. If there's 3 players on him, it means at least 1 Forest player is going to be unmarked. And therefore, he's got to adapt, look up, look for a square ball or play the fullback in or something like that. So he's got more to his game. But obviously, the shining lights is the finesse cutting. But yeah, I thought he was okay, but not sensational. I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Let's see what you guys did. You guys went about the same, a 6.6. So we're not a million miles off. If Cho brings 3 players, he leaves space. Exactly my point, Martin. Exactly my point. But he then has to know what to do with that space. Be aware of what players he's pulled out, where the pockets are now going to be created. What disappointed me both tonight on Elanga and Cho is they both played safe when we needed them to take responsibility. Yeah, especially for me, Elanga. I felt he could have taken Mitchell on, tried to get him booked. If he'd got, if we'd got that fullback booked in Mitchell, then it would have given him a tough night, etc. So let's move on from him and let's talk about Cristiano Ronaldo, who just can't stop scoring. And look, I need to apologize to him because I gave him discredit on the shot. At first glance, I thought the shot was quite weak. But when you watch it back, he caught it flush, cut across that ball really nicely. And he made it bounce twice. Yeah, we've got to be interrupted, of course, when we're talking about Cristiano. And it's Jessica, of course. Thank you so much for the £10, which matches what she says. 10 for Wood, 10 for FFTV. Thank you so much, Jess. I don't think I'm going as high as a 10, spoiler alert. But I said at halftime, I thought he played well in the first half. He was quite involved in a lot of the play. He was holding up the ball okay as well in the first half. And then when he cut across that ball, I mean, if you're going to give Chris Wood a 10, you got to give Dean Henderson, one of our own, a 10 as well for his part in that goal. It wasn't Chris Wood's greatest of goals, but Henderson made sure it went in. So you got to love that. I was happy with his entire performance tonight. I really was. I can't knock him. I'm going to give him a 9. I'm going to give him a 9. I thought even when he wasn't scoring a goal, he was involved, which has been a criticism of me for him. You know, he's been scoring goals, but not as involved. But for me tonight, he covered pretty much all the boxes I wanted to see ticked. Looking on the pitch, you wouldn't swap Wood for Nketiah. I wouldn't swap anyone for Nketiah, mate. No one. Make sure you give Jessica's super chat some love, guys. Give it some hearts in the chat. You can do that now. So 9 out of 10 for me for Cristiano. Let's see what you guys did. 8.4. I'll let Jessica respond to you guys in the chat on that one. Okay, let's move on to the subs. And the first sub on, correct me if I'm wrong, was my boy Jota Silva. In fact, it's Greg's boy, isn't it? We know Greg from Talking Reds absolutely loves him. And so do I. And I think so do most of the FFTV panelists. And I think so do most of the FFTV chat. And he comes on and he brings energy. Man, he did some of the coolest spinneroonies I've seen in the City Ground for quite a while. I just like what I see, and I don't know what he's got to do to get a start now. It's clear to me he is ahead of Elanga in the pecking order, and he needs to be picked. I don't think there's any excuse for him not to start on Friday against Leicester. He has to start. He has to start. He's got energy. He's got tricks. He's got pace. He leaps like a salmon, and he's quite strong for a guy who's, you know, a bit taller than Ez probably. I loved what he did. I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. An 8 out of 10, which is technically a 7 out of 10 with the sub rule. Do I do the sub rule or not? I don't know. I'll do the sub rule so that you guys don't come at me, but I'm giving him an 8. With the sub rule, it's a 7 out of 10. What a performance. He has to start against Leicester. No ifs, no buts, no maybes. Has to start. And Elanga has to be dropped. Has to be dropped. Dan, thank you so much for subscribing, bud. Now let's see what you guys did. Are you using sub rules? Are you using freaking eyebrow rules? Let's see what you guys went. 7.2. So you guys technically, if you've done the sub rule correct, I'm guessing you're saying 8.2 on that one. So congratulations. You scored it correct. You scored it correct. It's the headband as well. I do like the headband. I do like the headband. 8 with sub rule fans. 8 with sub rule, says Jessica. Hey, just got back. What a great win. Welcome back. Matt, did you get your freaking Danilo top? Tell me you got the Danilo top. You gave him a sub rule, says Anan. Anan, you know your stuff. You are bang on because you agreed with me. Okay, I'm stalling for time because I can't remember what the next sub was. Someone help me in the chat. Who was on after Jota? I swear to God, Matt, man. I'm just... I don't know what to do with you. I don't know what to do with you in crypto. Who is the next sub, chat? Who's the next sub? Come on, you should be on this. You should be on this. Moreno and Williams. Williams and Morata. Okay, let's start with Williams. I said this a couple of weeks ago with Williams. I actually think he's better at left back or left wing back than he is on the right hand side. I don't know if you guys agree or disagree with me. And I think he was quite skillful today going forward. He linked up really well with Sosa and Morata, who was behind him. And they kept that ball in that kind of upper left quadrant of the pitch away from our goal for a good lot of time. And I thought he was behind a lot of it. Just put it in the chat, R or L. Do you think he's better on the left or better on the right? Just a quick show of hands. I can't bother to do a poll on it. Quick show of hands. Let me know what you think. I think he was an 8 tonight with a sub rule, a 7. I'll be honest with you, I thought it was one of his better, and he's had some decent substitute performances. There's a lot of L's. Some saying same. You can say S if you, or B if you want for both. But yeah, I think he's better on the left-hand side. because he cuts in to then cross the ball. And he can cross with his left foot. Oh my God, you guys blowing up the chat with these L and R's. Don't write BS. Right way. And I do think on top of that, I think he's a better wing back than he is a fullback as well. I'll add that in. Okay, anyway, I thought he was an 8 out of 10. With the sub rule, I'm giving him a 7. So I thought it was a really good performance from Nico Williams. L watched him play there for Wales for years. Yes, he does, doesn't he? It's definitely his better position. Okay, I'm giving him a 7. Let's see which is an 8, yeah? You guys have gone 6.6, which is 7.6 technically. I mean, L, yeah, you put R there, so I was wondering what you're saying. Okay, 7.6, just about acceptable. Let's move on to Moreno. Morato, sorry. I really like him. There was these rumors going around before the match started. Where the hell is he? Just find him quickly. There's a few rumors knocking around that what's his face? Murillo was injured tonight. And Morato was gonna start. And congratulations to Chris Wood. His wife expecting a girl. Congratulations to him, mate. Can they have it in the off season though? If he's gonna have sleepless nights, I'd rather it is in the off season. This guy is quality, guys. This guy is quality. What I like about him is a couple of things, right? One, he doesn't seem to make a fuss that he's not starting. Like he's come into the club. Remember, different culture, different language, all that stuff. And he's not made a fuss. He's been benched behind Murillo and Milenkovic. When he comes on, he just looks chiseled. You know what I mean? He looks like a piece of iron as well. I like him. I don't want him to start though. That's why I think his traits are too similar to Milenkovic, and you need that flamboyancy from Murillo. It would work, but I think we'd lose a little bit of that pace that Murillo has from the back. And what I like is I think he's good in a 3. That's the other thing I'll say, because when he ventures forward, he wins the ball high up like he was today in that left channel. And it was a little scary because we were really pushing high up at that stage. And the other thing I'd say on top of it is, although I was disappointed that we went to a back 3 so early, I don't think the back 3 change in formation made it negative. I actually think we played more positive with it. And it's because of him and because he's not looking to sit back or deep or low block or anything like that, because he wants to play higher up, win the ball higher up, especially in the left channel. My only concern is as they set up, Murillo's on the left and he's in the middle, then Milenkovic is on the right. And he tends to drift a lot to the left-hand side, which could cause us problems down the line. But I like what I've seen of him in every single game so far. He's a 7 out of 10 for me. Sub rule makes him a 6. Really impressed with him. Crypto's back in the chat. Crypto's enjoyed his night, no doubt. You guys went 6.5, so basically 7.5. That's fine. I'll allow that. We're 18 likes off 300 likes with 650 in here. Please do hit that like button if you haven't already. Make sure you subscribe. We can get 9 more and get ourselves to 21,250. That would be amazing. But you guys went 6.5. And then would that leave the next sub chat as Sosa? You just hit the like button. Well done, Crypto. Good to see you. Was it Sosa? Correct me if I'm wrong. Sosa for me was very good when he came on. He's got nice tricks about him. He's willing to take the defender on. The only thing I'd say about him, physically, he seems a little bit weak. One time he got in behind the byline and was easily pushed off by the defender, and they let him run it out. I think he's skillful though, and as he adapts to the Premier League, I think he's going to get better. He's just not had a run of games. He needs a run of games. Let's not forget how desperate he was to come up to Forest. I would have started him today. As I said to you guys, I'd have had Jota in the 10 and him over on the right. But I think he did produce quite a bit when he came on. Daniel, thank you so much for subscribing, buddy. I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10 sub roll. I thought he was a good performance. Our subs gave us a bit of impetus when they came on. So, Sue, I agree. I thought we played quite well with the substitution changes, 100%. So Daryl in there saying Woodinho. So I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10 / 6 out of 10. You guys have gone 7.5, basically 6.5 if you played the rule of the sub rule. And then Ant saying, just got home, Elliot Anderson, take a bow, son. No surprise that Ant's going to big up whoever the number 10 was, is he? Anderson, I think I gave him an 8 and the chat gave him an 8.5, something like that. Something like that. But yeah, I agree. Elliot Anderson is fantastic. Okay, and then finally, Taiwo. Was Taiwo the last sub? I thought Taiwo did okay. A couple of times he showed his strength. Look at the diplomatic Jessica. Look at the diplomacy. Diplomacy right there. You love to see it. Would have liked to see Taiwo score as well. She would have liked to have seen Taiwo score as well. We all know she's Chris Wood's #1 fan, but for the greater good of the team, she would have liked to have seen Taiwo win. I was one off winning ticket again. Oh, mate, unlucky, bro. What ticket number got pulled? Taiwo still gasses, not as quick. I don't know how I feel about Taiwo. I thought he was okay. You can see he's got the strength. He's still got that Bambi on ice touch, though. 201. Oh, mate, unlucky, bro. That's so unlucky. I don't know. He's just I'm going to give him a 6 / 5 with the sub rule. I still think this at some point this season he's going to do something that's going to get you guys to remember why he is the person that helped keep us up in that first season. So I'm going to give him a 5 / 6 out of 10. You guys have gone nearly a 7 out of 10 if you played the sub rule, which I think is a little high. Okay, so that was the subs. Let's move on to Nuno, or should I say Silver. Where are we? There we go. Okay, team selection I had no issues with apart from Elanga starting, kind of Yates, but you know, that's just horses for courses and what have you. The substitutions, I think he got them right, but again, some of them at the wrong time. Elanga had to come off at halftime. He was doing nothing. And so Jota had to come on for him at halftime. However, he rectified that quite quickly in the 60th minute, and we scored shot horror a couple of minutes later. So I think in general, the subs were correct. It's just that Elanga one needed to be earlier. And this is as critical really as I can be. The switch into the back three, although at the time I was scared of it, was the right thing to do because we played it quite creatively. Don't think there's too much wrong with what he did, guys, if I'm being honest with you. Just that Elanga sub. That's it. 8 out of 10. 8.5, in fact, out of 10 for me. I think job well done. We got the win. Did we ride our luck? I don't really think so. 8 out of 10 for me. For Nuno. Let's see what you guys did. 7.6. Okay, not bad. As Colton says, you won on a clean sheet. You can't ask for more. Actually, I can ask for more. I want Forest to win by more than 1 goal. It's something me and Simon always talk about. Simon Jones, that is. I would like to win comfortably. I hope it comes on Friday. But we will see. Okay, let's have some fun. Let's do the man of the match. So who do you guys want as your candidates? Let's get up to 350 likes. We're on 317 likes. So man of the match. We're going to have Sells in there. Anderson in there. We'll have... I'm going to put forward Moreno. I don't think he's going to get many, but I'm going to put him forward. And of course, Cristiano Woodinho for scoring the goal. I can only put 4. I know you lot are putting some more names in, but get your votes in now. So let's see who takes the early lead here. Sells straight into a good lead there with 53% of the vote, but it's dropping as Anderson's overtaken Sells. This is tight, 38% apiece. Sells back into the lead, with 48%. Jessica saying, good night. We'll see you tomorrow for Grumpy Old Reds. Would man of the match. Thank you so much for the £5, Jesse. Absolute legend. We'll see you on Grumpy Old Reds. It should be about 8 o'clock tonight. Okay, I'm going to give you guys about 10 more seconds to get your votes. And Sells has crept back into the lead with 45% of the vote. Anderson on 38%. My man Moreno on 1% and Cristiano Woodinho on 17%. So it looks like it's going to be a 2-horse race between Sells and Anderson. Can Anderson catch him up? 5 seconds left on the clock. Sells still holding. He's still holding at 43%. Anderson looking to make a late move. It's a 3% swing right now. Can it go Anderson's way? In 5, 4. Oh my God, 40%. This is tight, 41. I'm going to call the vote right now. And the winner is by the slimmest of margins. The slimmest of margins. It goes to Matt Sells with 42% of the vote versus, that was quite exciting. It really was very tense there at the end. My God, Anderson clawed back a huge deficit there and nearly got it over the line. Shout out to you guys for making that one exciting. Okay, so plan for this week, just to give you guys a little heads up. We've got Grumpy Old Reds coming out tomorrow night at 8 p.m. It will be live. We'll be interacting with you guys in the chat. You'll have my in-depth match reaction out tomorrow. Over on Patreon as well, there should be another video. It's either tomorrow or Wednesday. No, it'll be Wednesday with a match preview for the Leicester game. We will have, I'm putting together a 4v4 super panel for Thursday as we build up for this Leicester game. I'm going to bring on 4 of my YouTube mates from Leicester, 4 of the Forest lot as well. It's going to be epic. And of course, somewhere in between all there, I think on Wednesday, we'll have the preview with Chappy, aka Choppy. So a lot coming out this week. So make sure you got your notifications on. This is now, after tomorrow, once we've done Grumpy Old Reds, the focus will turn to the Cooper Derby. We better damn well win that one. We better win that one. Listen, guys, let's enjoy the evening. Forest have won. We've finally done it from home. We're 8th in the league. If we beat Leicester, we're guaranteed 5th in the Premier League. Let that sink in. We'll see you guys tomorrow for loads of content. Have your notifications on. If you haven't already, please make sure you've hit that like button. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new. We'll see you then. Oh, Mark with a late one there. Just got it before I pressed the button, Mark. Well done. Thoroughly enjoyed your content. Thoroughly enjoy your content always, Wolfie. Thank you so much, Mark. Appreciate the $2 donations. If you want some more content, there's more over on Patreon. Go check that out. We'll see you tomorrow. Come on, you Reds.